This is CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. This is Python's Paradise, your film and music show. And folks, I have the lovely and talented Mandy Powers on the phone with me, who's an up-and-comer and getting into the acting, and she's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this evening. Does that describe you well?
That can describe me. Yes, I can be very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I think I'm very ambitious, and I love this industry, and that tends to be who I am. I have childlike wonder, and I guess that's where the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed comes from.
Oh, what's it like in California right now?
Yeah, right now, it just got a little bit dark. It's 6 o'clock in the evening right now. It's been a little bit windy, which has been really nice, though, because we really need the wind. But the weather's been lovely.
Cool.
So it hasn't been too hot, hasn't been too cold. It's been really nice.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, here we are with you. You're an up-and-comer, and I've looked at your website, and I've looked at your starter reel. I know you get a reel coming out here shortly, but you're doing the fine touches on it. But I definitely got to take a look at your stuff, and of course you got some new representation underway here. So you're really getting things going here, hot and heavy, pretty quick. You want to talk about that?
Oh yes. I just signed with the Actors Room Talent Management. My new manager, Stephen G. Lowe. I'm excited to, get started on my acting journey. I'm also in the middle of looking for a theatrical and commercial agent, preferably in the media market agencies, just so that, I can get out there. Everyone starts somewhere, but I feel like I can do the feature films. I feel like I can be out there and, be a voice for many different kinds of people. It's just a matter of meeting the right people, being in the right place at the right time. So once I do that, then it's just forward through auditions and showing them my reel. And in that, it'll be exciting because then I could truly show people, my acting ability and things like that.
Well, before we get into that in detail, I just wonder if you give us some of your background and how you come to love the cinema and want to take this journey.
Well, that is a long story. I've always loved acting. I think it's something that you start with when you're. Gosh, I was always playing with the neighborhood kids. We luckily we had all girls down the neighborhood, so we would all play, and in these different scenarios. And I think from there it started my journey into wanting to be an actor. All the award shows I would be watching every single year, and I'd see them all dressed up and glamorous, and seeing the politics of that, and it was really always inspiring. Lots of movies. I get attached to movies that are, of course, non-fictional as well as, the fictional stories. For me, it's getting wrapped up in the character and what their struggles they go through and what they become, and those are what kind of characters drive me. People who can inspire you to become better, or people who can relate to you. So that's kind of where my love of film and acting and movies pretty much came from.
You started out, now correct me if I'm wrong, you started out dancing and modeling, did you not?
The dancing and modeling actually came coinciding later. I did acting first.
Okay.
And then I went through a phase where I was going to become a ballerina. I did a ballet for 12 years straight.
Were you going to do the Black Swan?
Probably. That is a very coveted role, Swan Lake. But speaking of Natalie Portman, I absolutely love her in that movie. She's just, she's really good.
Yep.
She can show you that psychological thriller on top of the camera angles and tricks that they do to make you think what she's thinking, and is she really not thinking that? So it's great that you brought that up.
Well, we're hoping to see you do that here soon.
I happen to have been in a short film.
Okay.
And it's called Crazy Routine, which is kind of similar in that sense. It's a psychological thriller. I got to do that recently. That's part of my reel, of course. People will probably see that on your YouTube station, where her name is Carol, and I got to play a young mom. She has a son, probably about 10, 11 years old, and he comes in the kitchen, and, he's a little skittish, and you don't know quite what's happening. You think she's all fine, and then you see she has a scar on her head, and you're just like, okay, well, that's a little odd. And then something sets her off, and then you start to see her whole world just become chaotic, and she goes into, her psychosis and her, where she's trapped. It was a really fun role to play, really challenging. So hopefully when viewers get to see your YouTube channel, they'll get to see that role as well. Crazy Routine was a lot of fun to do.
By the way, I've seen that, and I thought you did a great job at flying off the handle. I did. I enjoyed that. Yet so. And that didn't look like I know I couldn't do it because I'm not an actor, but I thought you were funny, but not funny in a the Tommy Wiseau The Room or Troll 2 way. You were funny theatrically. I thought that in an entertaining way, not an insulting way. So I enjoyed that, but because I don't think that kind of part is easy to do, and you just did it in a short film. So it'd be interesting to see you do something like that in a feature.
Yes, that would definitely be an ultimate goal. I believe in I love challenging roles. I like things that push other people's perceptions and things that are going on, but also can create an awareness or a point of view that you never even thought before. And that's what I feel with this film, because it makes you want more. It makes you wonder, well, does she get resolved? Does she get help? Things like that, and that's what you always want to see. What's the part two?
Did you freak the kid out?
He was really good on set. So it was actually his first acting gig. So that was a lot of fun for him and an experience. And
you didn't traumatize him?
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm sure I was probably a little bit scary, definitely for a kiddo.
Well, listen, you've done theater as well as being on screen. Is that correct?
I did a little bit. I did a little bit of theater in my younger days when I first started, because that's where I learned my acting. But I guess more my theater background comes from the ballet that I did. So I did a lot of recitals and things like that.
How do you prepare yourself to get in front of an audience? And you don't do it so much anymore, but back at that time, how did you prepare yourself?
I think it's a matter of just getting up there. I think it's the energy of the crowd really that's really driving towards putting yourself out there in front of a live audience. But being in film, I think film's a lot different, because then you can kind of guide where you want the audience to go, which is really great. You can get them to see things, but still, people still have their interpretations of what they feel about a film, regardless of how they've watched it. So it's a lot of fun to see what people think or how you made them feel.
You prefer acting on film as opposed to acting on stage?
I think both are different mediums. I love the costuming and the over the top, which you can also do in film. I have a lot of films that are very theatrical in that sense. most of my most favorite films are very over the top, like Moulin Rouge and Femme the Opera, things like that. Those are all based off of like being on stage, and those are wonderful to do. I think you get instant. With the internet, you're able to get a lot more instant gratification. Because you have critics who give their opinions and things like that, and the audience who will write, "Oh, that was a great movie" or whatever. Theatrical, you kind of get more of the immediate reaction. So
Okay.
I think they're just two different mediums.
Well, let's talk more about your short films. You've done what? I think 3 short films, have you not?
Yes, I've done a few short films. I did another one which was really fun. It was called Date Spite. It's a roommate situation. It's really funny actually. Once that comes out, I've actually gotten to see it. It's still in the final preparation stage before I post it on my YouTube station. But it's these 2 roommates, and she's getting ready for her date, and she's being really silly, and she's kind of, just in her own moment, and her roommate comes in, and she's kind of like, "What trouble you causing?" basically. And, in the end, they show their relationship and their friendship, and it's really endearing. So it'll be fun to watch.
So which one are you in this?
I am the one going on the date, actually.
Oh,
So,
lucky guy.
My character. So, and we happen to, kind of have a tug of war over, the same guy. But it's all fun, and it's all very loving, and so, yeah.
And what was your other short film?
I did one a long time ago. It was called Sugar Orange, and that was fun to do. It was basically, gosh, I did that one quite a long time ago. That one, it was kind of like this guy was giving a gift to this woman, and it just shatters his world, and it's like this perception in his own mind that they're getting separated.
Okay.
And they're between this glass. It's a really interesting piece that I had did. It was a while back, but definitely another drama type of film.
See, I would like to see, I've saw that, and I'd like to see you do that again on a full feature length.
Yes, that would be amazing. Another challenging role, that would be absolutely amazing. I would love to, if I have an opportunity to, push myself as an actor and get to that point, then that would be amazing. I like challenges. I like judging myself as an actor, and I like showing the depth of my characters. So absolutely.
So, do you have any projects coming up, especially features that are coming up?
At the moment, I don't have anything on the books, as that's why I'm getting agent representation.
Okay.
And going across the board. But there are other things that I do. Right now, I'm talking to different people. I'm working on my website. My reel, things like that. I am at kind of the beginning stages, but you never know where anyone's career is going to be. So then there's that. But there are a lot of actors that I aspire to be like when I get to that level. But yeah, I definitely met different celebrities. I did an interview at Critics' Choice Awards, and I got to meet John Voight.
Did you say Kids' Choice Awards?
Critics' Choice
Oh,
Awards.
Critics' Choice Awards. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow. What was it like attending that?
It was a lot of fun, actually. I went there actually to assist my friend who is a critic, and I got to watch him interview, and then suddenly he turns the mic towards me, and he just goes, here, take a stab at it. And it was at the very end of the carpet. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do at that moment. I'm like, what do I ask? So then he goes, okay, just ask, the general questions. And he's the sweetest man. And, he's loves his grandkids, and, that was, more of his story at the time. But it was very cool to meet him because all the movies he's made, and the fact that his daughter is Angelina Jolie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love her. So it was very nice to have met him.
Did you see, I think he won the Oscar for Coming Home. That was 1978, I believe. And, of course, he was in Deliverance and Midnight Cowboy. Midnight Cowboy was the first NC-17 rated film to win Best Picture. When you asked him questions, were you nervous?
Of course. I mean, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, I've never done a hosting job before, but towards the end of the interview, I started to feel more comfortable, and and I realized that it was just a lot of fun to do. So it was a great opportunity to meet him. I'd love to probably do some more of that stuff on the side. It was a lot of fun. Which I've gotten an opportunity to also work at other fun events. I worked, the Golden Globes party recently. That was fun. I kind of got to see, the insides of it. The after party, which was cool. I have to say, being a part of those, it's just a lot of fun to be in the atmosphere and where it's happening.
Who else did you meet?
Like that. I personally didn't get to. Oh, well, you mean at the Golden Globes?
Yeah.
Or
any of these events?
Oh, well, I didn't personally meet anybody. It's kind of one of those things you got to know somebody. But I did. I did get a chance to see a couple of familiar faces, which was really neat. You get to see them in the room, and it makes you realize that it's all a real thing, that it can all really happen, and you can achieve your dreams and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten to meet a lot of interesting people in Hollywood. I've met or seen a whole spectrum of all the people in Hollywood. I mean, when you're in LA, you're going to see them, or meet them, or so through networking or through jobs. Different things like that. So,
well, it's interesting because Bruce Glover and Jon Voight, they're two such veterans. They they were in the business even before I was born. So I mean, there's definitely a lot somebody could learn from them. But
I am my huge inspiration from that period of time would be Marilyn Monroe. I love her.
Oh yes,
she's always been. A lot of other people love her, but I love her story. I love where she came from. For me, she's very inspirational in that sense, that she just came from a place that you wouldn't think that she would become, an actress or anything off of anything that she had been through. But she met different people, and people helped her along the way, and that shaped who she became, and from what we know today. And now her face is everywhere. Everyone knows who Marilyn Monroe is.
Do you have a favorite Marilyn Monroe movie?
For me, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes or 7-Year Itch. I like them both.
I like Some Like It Hot.
Funny in both. Oh, you love her in that one?
What's that?
Oh, you love her in that one?
Some Like It Hot, I think, was one of the funniest comedies I've ever seen. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes was really good, too. 7-Year Itch I liked, but I'm going to tell you, it's hard for me to watch it now because the actor in it, I forget the name of the actor.
I don't know his name either.
I knew it. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but originally Walter Matthau was supposed to play that part, and because I think it's because he was with a different studio or something like that. I forget what the story was. He didn't get to do the role, but it showed him audition for it, and I'm like, I think Matthau was so much more relaxed and funnier and more real playing the part than the guy that they had. I wish it could have been Matthau play the part as opposed to the guy that played it. I think they shot themselves in the foot there. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of different opinions on the guy that had played it. I've done some reading on it. Apparently, I think he was in the original theater adaptation of that at the time, and they brought him in on the movie. So that's really all I know. I don't really know him by reputation or anything as an actor. There are so many actors actually out there that it's really hard to keep track. And I'm sure that when I get up there, it'll probably be the same with me. Some people will be like, I'm not too familiar, but I know this and this and this. It happens. There's a lot of actors out there.
I know I've seen a picture of you online. I think it might have been on Facebook. I don't know if you dressed like Marilyn Monroe. You must have enjoyed doing that little shoot.
Yes, on the side, I'm starting my own on the side of my acting. We all have our side gigs that we do. I'm starting a Marilyn Monroe impersonator business.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit of something to, make a little bit extra money, having it fun at the same time. Because I love Marilyn Monroe, and, she's very popular, so which makes it fun. I auditioned once for the Marilyn Monroe at the Universal Studios. That was a lot of fun. Didn't make the cut for that, but, everything is subjective. So, but then it's like that doesn't stop me from doing my own thing.
No.
So, which is great. I booked a gig at the Hotel del San Diego for a ladies' party. That was my very first gig. It was a lot of fun. And I'm just getting all my stuff together now to get things out there. I have a friend who works in Vegas, and he's got some shows coming up, so I'll be working with him. Things like that. It's always good to do. Have lots of things that you're doing as you're coming up as an actor. I also work with different charities. I work with an organization called Pinups for Vets. My friend Gina Lease, she's the founder. So we dress up like pinups, like 1950s.
Okay.
Going back to the Marilyn Monroe thing.
Just a question for you.
Sure.
How well can you impersonate Marilyn? Besides, I know you dress up well as her, but can you do the voice?
I believe that I can. It just depends on.
I was going to say if you do it here, but I guess maybe you're on the spot, huh? Because I know when Some Like It Hot, she's got that little bebop song she does, and only she seems to know how to do that, and she sounds very sexy but very cute and innocent when she does it, and it's fun watching her perform it. And of course the scene where she comes out with the ukulele and she's shaking her hips and she's playing the ukulele. I mean,
I know, she's so cute in that part. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've actually got a Christmas ornament home of Marilyn Monroe. I actually got several Marilyn Monroe Christmas ornaments, but I got one from Some Like It Hot with her in the black, with the tassels at the bottom, and it's got her with the little ukulele. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. She's wonderful, and I think she's the reason why. Like, if you go to Los Angeles, even by the the Walk of Fame, and where they have, all the handprints and the signatures and everything, they have a plaque dedicated to Marilyn, because she is very symbolistic, of Hollywood. That you can come to LA, you can become anything. There's two ways of looking at Hollywood. It's either, the broken dreams or the land of dreams. And I tend to, look at the positive direction. I think anything is possible. And I think, and then when someone sees me in that sense, when I get up there, I would want them to feel the same way. You could come from anything and reach your dreams and your goals and, things like that.
You mentioned charities. You want to go further into detail on the various charities you're involved in, or what you wish to push? Yes.
I have, for the past 4 years, I've been involved with Pinups for Vets. My friend Gina Lease, she's the founder of it. She's been doing this now for I think it's about 12 years now.
Okay.
They've had these calendars. So she also has a lot of female veterans attached, and they'll dress up in pinup, and they'll do, I'm considered a volunteer because I don't have the military background, but I do support the organization. I came from a military town, born and raised in San Diego, so and I have my grandfather was in the Navy. So,
Okay.
the military is definitely, a part of my family as well. We have all these great events, and what she does with all the calendars that she sells, not only does she, we make hospital visits, but she, with the sales of that and the donations, it all goes towards medical equipment for the hospital. So it's a great organization because even with all the government funding and whatever else, they still need extra help on getting modern equipment so that they can, take care of their patients and, all their medical personnel.
Any other
It's
charities?
great.
Yeah. And any other
Yeah.
charities you're involved in?
I recently got started with Dress for Success. I recently found out about them. Well, I used to do pageants a little bit, so I found out about them through that. And so what they do is they empower women who are looking for jobs. They help them dress professionally, and drive them into the workforce. I think it's really great for women who are maybe some moms that don't know anything. I literally just got on board to help them be a professional dresser for them, which is a lot of fun. I'll help them with what they're wearing.
I've never
They
heard
can
of
get
this
to the job
before.
interview. I know, it's not fun.
Yeah.
And Dress for Success. They're in Los Angeles.
And you've got a lot of
They have a
class.
website.
I've seen some of your photos, so
Thank you.
you've got a lot of class. So you definitely have something that you could share with them.
So yeah, absolutely. Especially with my my background in business and being involved in so many different aspects of business and of show business and things like that. I've gotten to learn a little bit about how to dress properly, and plus I just love fashion, so it kind of helps a little bit. And to make another woman feel good makes me feel good. So I really enjoy empowering other women. And I've met other people along the way who in my own life who have either empowered me or who have tried to do the opposite, and I believe more in empowering someone else.
Okay. Any other charities or just those two?
Right now I just work with those two, but I have my own passion project. It's going to be a really big undertaking, but I hope to help with the national problem of homelessness in this country.
Okay.
Being Southern California, and I don't know what it's like up there in Canada, but I know it's worldwide. I know it's everywhere. But here in Southern California, and it's becoming increasingly bad. There's a lot of people who either suffer from mental illness, or they're drug addicted, or they're runaway, or their stories, or they lost their home. The stories of all these people, it breaks your heart. And the problem of homelessness is becoming so big, that you're seeing, rows of tents of, homeless communities coming out now, and it's becoming such a big epidemic problem. And my heart is for people. And I believe that if we can, try to help people and get them where they need to go, get them back on their feet, not only with that, but speaking to our government and truly creating more jobs. I think America could be working again the way it should be, and everyone can prosper instead of having to, see these people suffer, and your heart just bleeds for them, and you want to help them. And eventually I would like to, it'll be a big undertaking, and it won't be an overnight thing, but I have a couple of ideas that could probably help with that, and help people, and help, along with programs like Dress for Success, teaming with different organizations, things like that can help men and women get off the streets, and live a normal life and function, And I think there are a lot of other countries that do implement things that help and are preventative to that. And I think there's things that American can learn, to be able to get people out in the workforce and make America functioning again.
You talked about Marilyn Monroe, and she's had a big impact on your dreams and where you'd like to go.
Yeah.
What other actors inspire you?
One of my biggest other actors that I've followed is Nicole Kidman. I absolutely love her. I get compared to her a lot too.
Oh yeah.
I love her career. I've followed her since Moulin Rouge. Actually, I think I followed her a little bit before that when she's in Practical Magic. I loved her in that movie. I was really young at that time. It was about the time I started acting when she was in that.
I liked her in Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, I actually have not. I have not seen that, but I know that was during a time of transition for her as well. I know that was a big deal, and that was when she was with her former husband, and I know that's when she was making the transition from that part of her life as well. But I did hear that got a lot of critical acclaim. So.
Well, it was Stanley Kubrick's last films too, so and he was definitely an acclaimed director, of films like 2001: A Space Odyssey, Doctor Strangelove, Clockwork Orange, and this was his last. And Nicole Kidman, definitely an actress with a lot of range, and also a past Academy Award winner as well for I think it was The Hours she won for.
Oh, she was amazing in The Hours. I watched her in that, and all the other women that she was working with in that movie as well were all just amazing.
Yes. And do you have any social media or websites information where people can... I definitely recommend people check out Creepy Routine. I actually watched that twice. I watched that twice.
Yes, it's a very intense psychological thriller. Yes, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, it was a lot of fun to play her and to get into that her intensity and to her intense moment.
Do you have that kind of problem when you're in the kitchen?
Oh my God, that would definitely be a bipolar thing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to play, and I loved it. Roles that challenged me and give more depth, those are a lot of fun to play. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone could find that on my website, www.mandypowersofficial.com. You can go ahead and there's pictures of me on there, my bio's on there, and they can see my reel as well. And there'll be Crazy Routine, Date Fight, and probably some other clips of, some little things in there as well on that reel. But people will get a chance to see that intense scene that we had just spoken about.
Is that your favorite acting piece so far?
So far, well, between that and Date Fight, I think they're both great because one's comedy and one's more drama, and I like the intensity of it. So,
what would you like to do more of in terms of type of film?
Type of film, I would love to do everything all off the spectrum. I would love to do, feature films that are, dramatic or comedic, but there's a bunch of type of characters I want to play, and I want to be a very motivating type of actor. I'd love to, be the woman on the adventure, or the underdog that comes from some challenge, and you see them move through the challenge and become victorious out of it, or they learn a lesson out of it. Which, in that sense, when the character's learning the lesson, then the audience learns something out of it too. I love those type of films. Non-fictional characters, people who are in history, being able to emulate someone important, those type of things. I would there's so many roles out there, but definitely those type of roles would be a lot of fun to play.
Well, here's a question about creepy routine. I'm really plugging that short film here because I got a kick out of you in that. But how do you put yourself in that mindset, Because I'm not an actor, but how do you get yourself in that frame of mind where you could pull that off?
I think there's a lot of internal work to be done because you get your character and you don't only read like what the scenes when you get the script, so you read the scene and you have your process of acting. So I think it's before you even get on set, you internalize and you figure out where she comes from. You create the backstory into how she got into where they're filming at that exact moment. How did she get there? What happens after? That type of thing. There's a lot of pre-work involved, leading up to the day of filming. So I think it's a lot of internal work on finding the core of the character and how did they get there, and then there's a lot of the emotional work involved to get up to that moment.
Absolutely. So where can people find you? You mentioned your webpage. I got you on Facebook. You got Twitter?
I do have Twitter.
Okay.
My Twitter is just real basic. It's at Mandy N Powers.
Okay.
And then on my my Instagram, Instagram is at Real Mandy Powers.
Okay.
So and again, it's at Real Mandy Powers. So it's me and not. Someday I'll probably have some fake sites. Celebrities have a lot of these fan sites, so I put that on there just in case, an impersonator comes up at every one time. So that's my actual Instagram. So.
Now, that's real as an REEL or REAL?
Haha, that would be funny, actually, if it was the REEL. But no, it's real as an REAL.
Actually, I'm being serious because, you mentioned you're real and whatnot, so I just...
I know, actually, it's really quite clever, but I had never even thought of that. That is very, very clever, Greg.
I just wanted to make sure so people that type that in will get it in right so you can get traffic better to your site.
Definitely, yeah, and... if anyone wants to see what's going on with my future projects or things that are going on with me, things in my, my role and, so definitely on my list would be definitely to come up and visit Canada sometime. So,
where I'm located up here in New Brunswick?
It's funny. I've heard of it, but I've never actually. I don't really know the area that much. So, but
no.
It's very intriguing, and I'd love to come visit that area sometime. So that'd be pretty cool.
Well, tell me if you had your choice right now, let's say pick one actor and one actress that you would love to work with, that you would just to die for or work with. Who would they be?
Oh my goodness. Okay. There are a ton of, it's a very good question. Actor-wise, I'd probably love to work with, I like Tom Hanks. He's cool. I love a lot of his films.
Okay.
He would be great to work with. He's a great actor. He's got he's just got a ton of amazing films behind him. He'd be fun to work with. Actress, goodness, it would be fun to work with some of my idols. Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman. They've just done so many roles that it definitely would leave me speechless probably meeting them, because I just think they're amazing, and I think their body work is really wonderful, and they're both very sweet. I've seen them in interviews. So yeah, if I ever had actors I'd love to work with, those are just a few among the many, many, many amazing actors there are.
Well, there you go. Well, Mandy, it was great having you on here this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank
you,
Greg. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, how'd you feel? You haven't done a whole lot of interviews. How'd you feel about this?
I think it's been fun. This has been my my very first radio interview ever, I would have to say. It's been a pleasure, and it's been fun, and it's interesting to see, who knows where I'll be a year from now, and what moves on, and the people I meet, and places I'll go, and Hollywood's an interesting place, and I hope to just keep reaching for the stars and see where my career goes.
Well, before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
Hello, my name is Mandy Powers, and I'm interviewing here with Gilbert of Python's Paradise of New Brunswick, Canada.